The Explainer is a weekly podcast from The Journal that takes a deeper look at one news story you need to know about. We find the right expert with the right knowledge to break down complex issues for you in an easy to understand way. We recently partnered with the EU Civil Protection and Humanitarian Aid Operations of the European Commission to speak to people with first-hand experience of some of the biggest crises facing the world right now. In our latest episode of the series, we heard an incredible story of survival as we delved into the Andaman Sea crisis and what the Rohingya minority face as they attempt to flee persecution and genocide in Myanmar. Hassan bin Rashid is a refugee now living in Malaysia. He was born in one of the biggest refugee camps in the world in Bangladesh, as his family had already fled Myanmar. At 14, in search of a better education, he risked his life to board a boat he hoped would land in Malaysia.
I contact my friend who were already in Malaysia at that time. They came by boat. So they did warn me, like, don't choose this journey because it's very dangerous. People die on this. I said, no, I'm just asking. They gave me the number and I contacted this trafficker and he told me I will be in Malaysia in 3 days. As soon as I went to the trafficker house, I see my other friends are there. From the camp, they were also coming to Malaysia.
The group were taken on a small boat out to international waters between Bangladesh and Myanmar. There, they were transferred to a larger, more crowded vessel with as many as 300 people on board.
I was kind of surprised and I told the guy, this is not what I was promised. I want to go back. And this guy came up to me, this trafficker on the boat, and said in a very scary, loud, and like, this is one way, you can't go back. And my friend was like, don't argue with these guys. They are very dangerous.
Another hugely important story we've covered on the podcast is climate change. Listeners would be familiar with recent stories about wildfires sweeping parts of the world, sometimes in more destructive ways than before. I cannot imagine what fighting these megafires must be like, but Marcin Patter spends his days figuring out how to do just that. He's an emergency response officer with DG ECHO and told us about his experience in Greece in 2021.
It is very challenging. I must say that I was very disturbed when I was there. I remember when I was driving to Evia Island to meet the firefighters responding to the fire. It took me almost an hour to reach through the area that was burned. And over the window, what you can see is only burned trees, buried vegetations. There is ash everywhere. We've seen many of houses that were burned. All of them were abandoned. People have to leave them. And I must say, I'm a firefighter myself, but it was still very disturbing. And later, when I met the firefighters that were battling the fires for a couple of days already, they said that they never seen anything like this before in the professional career.
Our very first episode featured Claudia Amaral. Her job, heading the organisation's Ukraine office, has led her to the front line, where she has witnessed the devastation of the war. She told us about her work on the ground, providing assistance to those in need.
I recently visited a humanitarian hub in the region of Sumy, and there I met a woman that was initially displaced from Donetsk. She had moved to Kharkiv, and now, as a result of the war, she had to leave Kharkiv, and she came to Sumy. And she was alone with 6 children. She had 3 of her own, plus 3 of her sister that had just recently passed away. Her husband was, a soldier now, so he was not able to join them. So through this center, and we help with the funding through our partners to fund these activities, she was supported with multi-purpose cash assistance for some of the most immediate costs that she needed. Non-food items like the hygiene kits for her and for the kids, as well as psychosocial support. And to find out how to continue with the schooling. So she also needed some supporting with that. So this is a concrete case where you see in one family, you see several things coming up.
All the episodes are available to listen to now wherever you get your podcasts.